Hello everyone. Our message for today is you're important. Sometimes it's hard for each of us to feel special or important today. We often feel like we're small and people don't even see us. They tell us to be quiet. They tell us not to say how we feel, what we think, or what we want in the world today. But when we feel this way, we really have to understand how God sees us. He looks at us and he says, each one of you are important to me. He knows us, he loves us, and he cares about us. And everything that he has for us to do is important. One of those things is in our scripture today, and it comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20. We are therefore Christ's ambassador, as though God were making his appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf to be reconciled to God. Now let's think about important jobs, and one of those is in that scripture. He's talking about being an ambassador. A lot of people don't know what ambassadors do. In the old days, they represented the kings of every nation, and they carried their messages to people all over the world. And wherever they went, they were treated like kings because they represented the leaders. In our world today, they still represent the leaders of our country. They carry important messages, they negotiate things, they work with people in other nations to build things that represent the good in the world. That makes them special and important. We also have to remember that Jesus was an ambassador. He was God's ambassador. He came to earth. He lived a life to show us how we should live. He taught us how we should live. He showed us what God was like in earthly form, his love, his caring, his forgiveness, his compassion, his grace. All of those things describe Jesus, and through him we get to understand what God was like. Paul wrote to the Corinthians and said that each one of us could be ambassadors. That means each one of us can be just as important and just as special as anyone else. To do that, we have to keep some things in mind. We have to keep the characteristics that make people a successful ambassador. We have to first be ready. We have to be ready to represent Jesus and God at every opportunity, whenever they come up, whenever we can. We have to be patient. We can't argue with people and yell at them and make them believe that God's important. We follow Jesus' path. We show them with compassion, with grace, and with mercy. We have to be clear and careful with what we say and how we speak. We have to have people who want to listen to us. We have to be fair and sympathetic towards others. We want to make sure that people see Christ through us. We have to act with grace, kindness, and mercy. We have to show all of those lessons that we learned and show why they're important. And most important, we have to depend and rely on God to speak through us, just like the ambassadors do. We're carrying God's message. And when we present ourselves, when we're ready to accept his jobs, he'll be able to support us, and we can rely on that. You know, today I'm at my home, and I've chosen to accept the task to be Christ's ambassador to each one of you, bringing you this message through Facebook, through YouTube, however you're choosing to see it, sharing with you that you're important, that God has special jobs for each one of his people, and that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what's going on in your life today, you're very important to him. Remember, no matter what other people think, you're important. You're important to God, and you're important to his kingdom. Thank you.